What happens when the strongest woman in professional wrestling, someone who's faced down monsters, conquered championships, and never backed down from a fight, suddenly finds herself completely powerless? What happens when the man herself breaks down, not from her own pain, but from watching the person she loves most suffer in agony? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most emotionally devastating moments in recent WWE history. A moment that reminded us that behind the larger-than-life personas, these are real people with real emotions, real relationships, and real heartbreak. This is the story of how Becky Lynch, the woman who conquered mountains, was brought to her knees by love. Before we dive into that heart-wrenching moment, we need to understand the foundation of what makes this story so powerful. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch aren't just two of WWE's biggest stars, they're a real-life couple whose love story has captivated fans worldwide. These two didn't just meet backstage and fall in love. They've been through wars together, supported each other through career-defining moments, and built something beautiful both in and out of the ring. Seth, the visionary, the Monday Night Messiah, the man who's carried WWE on his back through some of its most challenging periods. And Becky, the man herself, the woman who broke barriers, shattered glass ceilings, and became one of the most beloved superstars in WWE history. But here's what makes their story so compelling: they understand the business. They know that injuries are part of the game. They've both been through the grind, felt the pain, dealt with setbacks. Seth has had his share of serious injuries throughout his career, from torn ACLs to back problems that have kept him out of action for months. Yet nothing could have prepared Becky for what she was about to witness. Picture this scene. It's another high-stakes WWE event, the kind where careers are made and legends are born. Seth Rollins is in the middle of what should have been another showcase of his incredible athletic ability. The crowd is electric, the energy is palpable, and everything seems to be going according to script. Then it happens. In professional wrestling, there's always that split second where you can tell something has gone terribly wrong. The crowd goes quiet, the commentary team's tone shifts, and suddenly what was entertainment becomes very, very real. This was one of those moments. Seth went down, and it wasn't the kind of fall you get up from with a smile and a wave to the crowd. This was different. This was the kind of fall that makes your heart stop, that makes you forget you're watching a predetermined show, that reminds you these athletes are putting their bodies on the line every single night. The cameras, as they always do, found Becky Lynch in the audience. And what we saw next was something that transcended wrestling, transcended entertainment, and hit us right in the heart with pure, raw human emotion. The woman who had faced down Ronda Rousey without flinching, who had stood toe-to-toe with the biggest names in the business without batting an eye, who had earned the nickname, the Man, through sheer force of will and determination, this woman was breaking down. The cameras captured it all, and honestly, for a moment, you wished they hadn't. This felt too private, too personal, too real for public consumption. But it was also a reminder of something we often forget in the world of sports entertainment: these people care about each other. They love each other. They're not just characters playing roles. Becky's reaction was immediate and visceral. You could see the exact moment when she realized this wasn't part of the show, when the fear hit her, when she understood that the person she loves most in this world was in genuine pain and danger. Her hands went to her face, her body language completely changed, and you could see her fighting back tears that she ultimately couldn't contain. This wasn't the Man anymore. This was Rebecca Quinn, a woman watching the father of her child, her partner, her best friend, lying motionless in that ring. And she was powerless to do anything about it. The breakdown was complete and heartbreaking. Tears streaming down her face, her usual composure completely shattered, replaced by raw fear and helplessness. It was the kind of moment that makes you realize how much these two people mean to each other, how deep their connection runs, and how the line between their professional and personal lives is often much thinner than we imagine. But this moment means so much more than just one woman being upset about her husband's injury. This was a window into the reality of what it means to love someone in this business, what it means to support someone whose career involves putting their body at risk night after night. Think about what Becky has been through in her own career. She's dealt with concussions, she's been broken noses, she's pushed through pain that would stop most people in their tracks. She understands the physical toll this business takes better than almost anyone. But understanding it intellectually and watching it happen to the person you love are two completely different things. This breakdown showed us the other side of being in a wrestling family. It's not just about the glamour, the championships, the WrestleMania moments. It's about the sleepless nights wondering if your partner will come home in one piece. It's about watching them push their bodies to the limit and knowing that one wrong move, one split-second mistake, could change everything. Becky's tears weren't just about that one moment, they were about every match, every risk, every time she's had to watch someone she loves step through those ropes knowing that anything could happen. What makes this story even more compelling is understanding the dynamic between Seth and Becky as both a couple and as professional wrestlers. These are two people who have reached the absolute pinnacle of their profession. They've both held world championships, headlined WrestleManias, and been the faces of the company. But in that moment, none of that mattered. All the championships, all the accolades, all the success meant nothing compared to Seth's well-being. Becky would have traded every title, every accomplishment, every moment in the spotlight just to see him get up and walk away under his own power. This is what real love looks like in the world of professional wrestling. It's not about the storylines or the on-screen relationships that are designed to entertain us. This is about two people who chose each other, who built a life together, who have a child together, and who have to navigate the unique challenges of being in love in an industry that demands everything from them. Seth and Becky have always been supportive of each other's careers, but they've also had to find ways to balance their professional ambitions with their personal relationship. They've had to deal with being apart for extended periods due to touring schedules, with the pressure of both being top stars, and with the constant scrutiny that comes with being a high-profile couple in WWE. What happened next showed us even more about the character of both Seth and Becky. While the immediate fear was palpable, what followed was a masterclass in support, strength, and resilience. Becky didn't just fall apart and stay there. Yes, she had her moment of vulnerability, and she was absolutely entitled to that, but then she did what she's always done. She stepped up. She became Seth's strongest advocate, his biggest supporter, and his motivation to get better. Recovery from serious injuries in professional wrestling isn't just about the physical healing. It's about the mental aspect, the fear of re-injury, the doubt that creeps in when you're away from the ring for extended periods. Having someone like Becky in your corner during those dark moments can make all the difference in the world. And Seth, for his part, showed why he's considered one of the toughest and most resilient performers in the business. But even the strongest people need support, and having Becky there, having someone who understands the business and understands him on such a deep level, was crucial to his recovery process. This incident also showed us something beautiful about their relationship: it's not one-sided. Throughout Becky's career, Seth has been her biggest cheerleader, her strongest supporter, and her most trusted advisor. When she was pregnant and had to step away from the ring, he was there. When she came back and had to rebuild her momentum, he was there. And when he needed her most, she was there too. The reaction from the WWE Universe to this moment was immediate and overwhelming. Fans who had watched these two performers for years suddenly saw them in a completely different light. Social media exploded with messages of support, with fans sharing their own stories of watching loved ones go through difficult times, and with an outpouring of genuine emotion that you rarely see in response to wrestling content. This moment transcended the usual boundaries between performers and audience. It wasn't about heel and face dynamics, it wasn't about championship pursuits or storyline developments. It was about human connection, about love, about vulnerability, and about the real emotions that exist behind the characters we see on television every week. Many fans commented that seeing Becky's breakdown actually made them respect her more, not less. In a world where strength is often defined by never showing weakness, seeing someone be genuinely vulnerable and emotional in response to a loved one's pain was refreshing and real. It also sparked important conversations about the toll that professional wrestling takes not just on the performers, but on their families and loved ones. The physical demands of the business are well documented, but the emotional impact on spouses, children, and partners is something that doesn't get discussed nearly enough. This entire incident taught us some profound lessons about what real strength looks like and what real love means. Becky Lynch built her entire persona around being the man, around being tough, unbreakable, and fearless. But in that moment, she showed us that real strength sometimes means allowing yourself to be vulnerable, allowing yourself to feel scared, and allowing yourself to show just how much someone means to you. Too often, we have this misconception that strength means never showing emotion, never letting anyone see you break down, never admitting that you're scared or worried. But Becky's reaction showed us the opposite. It took incredible strength to be that vulnerable in such a public moment, to let her guard down completely, and to show the world just how much Seth means to her. This is what love looks like when it's real and deep and genuine. It's not always pretty, it's not always composed, and it doesn't always fit into neat storylines or character arcs. Sometimes love is messy and desperate and terrifying, especially when the person you love is in danger. The breakdown also showed us something important about the nature of partnership. Seth and Becky aren't just two successful people who happen to be married. They're genuinely invested in each other's well-being, genuinely afraid of losing each other, and genuinely supportive of one another through the best and worst moments. At the end of the day, this moment reminded us why we love professional wrestling in the first place. Yes, it's about the athleticism, the storytelling, the larger-than-life characters, and the incredible performances. But it's also about the real human beings behind those characters, the real relationships, the real emotions, and the real stakes. Becky Lynch's breakdown wasn't a storyline. It wasn't designed to get a reaction or advance a plot. It was a genuine moment of human vulnerability that happened to be captured on camera, and it was more powerful and moving than any scripted segment could ever be. It showed us that behind the man is Rebecca Quinn, a woman who loves deeply, fears genuinely, and cares more about her family than any championship or accolade. And that makes her not less of a superstar, but more of one. In a world where we're often told to hide our emotions, to be strong at all costs, and to never let anyone see us sweat, Becky Lynch showed us that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is let yourself feel everything, even if it breaks you for a moment. Because that's what love is. That's what partnership means. And that's what makes us human. What did you think of this emotional moment? Have you ever experienced something similar while watching someone you care about? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Wrestling vs. CC for more deep dives into the stories that make wrestling so much more than just entertainment.